You ever watch those zombie movies and you will notice that if you do watch a zombie movie at any point in time in your life, you ever notice that, the population of zombie infestation, it always outnumbers those who are not infected or those who are survivors, that there may be few survivors and they're going up against a whirlwind of zombies, like the masses have all been turned or infected with some type of virus, and it causes them to have one frame of mind and can only feed off of one thing and one source only to survive, and without it they all die off. Those are zombies. So when I say zombie, I'm referring to the masses, like a large group of population of people, the majority of people who are what they would call it in the truth community, who are still asleep, not fully awake, or even if you can go biblically with it, those who are spiritually asleep, not awake, or blind, spiritually blind. So zombies are basically a large group of people, a mass of people that outnumber people like who are, awake, spiritually awake, who can see clearly through the deception and can see and can, analyze and can easily decipher through the deceptions and the lies that are brought forth in our world, and, are not easily like taken in by trends or by mass media, who can sit in front of a TV with the news on and just laugh at it because they can see what the real intentions, what the real agenda is all about. They are the ones that are the minority. They are the ones that are called conspiracy theorists, tinfoil hat wearers, and those are the people that I can relate to back in the biblical days of Noah, when Noah was also put in that type of category by the masses. It was just him and his family, and God spoke to him and revealed things to him and showed him what is to come, what's going on, why things are happening, and he started preparing and started building his ark. And the masses, the people, the population, the community, the world saw what he was doing and thought he was some crazy guy running around here being paranoid, and they were just basically blind. They couldn't see what he was seeing, and they didn't know what God had instructed him to do, that he had heard from God and that he was preparing for something that is coming. And there was warnings that went out, but everybody continued with their life normally like they usually do, act as if nothing is out of the norm, and continue to live their life and follow the system and eat up all the resources and so forth. So they never took time to prepare themselves for what is to come, spiritually, naturally, and so forth. So when I say zombies, that's basically what I'm talking about. The only time they get information is when they turn on their TV to CNN and watch some news, or when they log into their social accounts and they see majority of their friends on this side of the fence, then they will join their friends as well, because they don't want to lose their friendships with their friends. They want to be friendship with the world and friendship with the church. They want to be friends with everybody, and they don't want to offend anybody because they're scared of losing a friendship, or they're scared of being looked at or ostracized or being persecuted. So zombies who rely on one source for information, they have no other way of thinking. They have no ability to think for themselves. They have no ability to, let me go research a little bit more about this person, or about this information. They don't want to do that. The only time that they will listen to anything is, for example, the debates and the election. The only time people get their information is when they're watching a debate. And those are people with low IQs to me, who are like zombies, because they rely on CNN, Fox, and so forth to feed them information. They think they're getting legit information. They think they're getting factual information. but they're really getting mixed information. They're getting lies mixed with truth, half truths most of the time, not the full, they're getting information that is concocted in a way to fit an agenda. Now, for an example of people who are zombies, let me give a little bit of an example here. Now, my husband, he has come across this a few times since the elections, the whole election thing started. He basically he's a researcher, and he's one person I'd like to look up individuals. He's done his study. He's researched a lot about Donald Trump as well as Hillary. And my husband is neither a Democrat or Republican. And that's the best thing. When you're not on either party and you're an outsider, you are not biased. So you can judge with a clear sight, and you can see and you can call out both party on their wrongdoing. So he's able to give a non-biased his non-biased opinion, and also he does his research. He does his research first before he watches debates or CNN and so forth to see what they're saying. But he he uses other resources, and he read about history and so forth, and he's able to talk about it intelligently and actually enlighten people about some information about certain candidates. And when he does this, he would tell me, this person was saying, oh, this Donald Trump, this da 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 da, and then he would say, oh, and I go up to this person, I ask them little questions, and they simply didn't know how to answer the question, or they relay back to what they heard on CNN, or they'll say, oh, I didn't know that. And after he shares a bit more information about a specific candidate. So it's interesting that someone like him, when you do research and so forth, and you're able to really enlighten people who think they know something based on the fact that they watch news media, that their source of information is coming from CNN and Fox News, and watching a hour and a half debate only, and they're sitting there talking about, oh, answer the question, and why ain't he answering the question? He never answered a question, and blah blah blah. Well, maybe the candidate did answer the question in numerous resources. If you go and look them up and listen to them and read about their policies and so forth, do your research, then you'll see the answers are there. They answer your question, whether it's the answer that you're looking for or it's not the answer you're looking for. They answer the question. So because your only source of information to make a decision on a candidate is coming from watching debates and CNN, then that's the majority of the majority. That's what they do. So the majority, their IQ is kind of low, and I'm not being insulting. I'm not insulting anyone, but if you research this information, like research Americans' IQ level, there is a statistic that actually support what I'm saying. Americans' IQs have gone down, and that's something you should research, and why. So when I say zombies, basically that's what I'm referring to. It's the masses. They only get their information from one source. They don't know how to think for themselves. They don't know how to research properly. They don't have critical thinking skills. They don't know how to look at something from a non-biased perspective and address, if you're a Democrat and you're watching a debate and your focus is on a Republican, meanwhile your candidate is also doing nonsense and saying nonsense, but your focus is on the other opponent, then that is a clear sign that you're possibly a zombie, because you're not able to criticize, analyze your own candidate. Notice anytime when you go on any type of social networking sites, or even in your community, or if you listen to people talk out in your jobs and so forth, notice that they never talk about Hillary. If they're a Hillary supporter, they will talk about Trump. Why is that? Why is they never talk about their own candidate, but they'll only talk about Trump? And if you ask them, what did you think about the debate last night? They'll talk about Trump. They'll automatically go towards Trump. They have nothing to say about their own candidate. That's a clear sign of a zombie. If you only direct things towards the opponents your opponent, and you have nothing to say about your own candidate that you're supporting, your own party, and you can't see the shortcomings of your own candidate, I mean, clearly you're a zombie, because you've been programmed to be a Democrat, stand for Democrat no matter what they do. You're programmed. You're a zombie. You're blind. You're spiritually starved. So that's what I call zombies. They're zombies. You can't speak anything to them. You say anything to them about, going to the truth, research. They hate that word, research. They're, they completely can't do that. They prefer to get their source of information from mass media. Zombies. No critical thinking skills, no analytical skills, no ability to do any research, no ability to be unbiased and just stand from a neutral perspective and properly analyze both candidates, even if you are a part of a party. And more so, I'm seeing it now dangerously with the Democrats. It's mind-blowing how you can not address Hillary's clear and blatant crimes, and you can easily research her crap and find the truth about her. You don't even need media to do that for you. You could do it yourself and find out, and you will see hers is way heavier than Donald Trump. Donald Trump is getting ostracized for saying things in old tapes and all that stuff. That's all that they have on Donald Trump. But there's things that Hillary has done, and that's why I say she has blood on her hands. That's detrimental to to American people, and they prefer to stay that way. They turn their backs on the truth and prefer to live in La La Land because they can't handle the truth. I know people like that personally. Zombies.